Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. If you are here for the Career Paths webinar on exploring trades, apprenticeships, and vocational programs, you are 100% in the right place. We're so excited to have you with us this evening. This presentation should be running between 6 and 7:30. We might be done before then, okay? And if you do have to leave before then, don't worry about it. We are recording tonight's presentation. Let's go ahead and discuss who you're with tonight, who is in this room with you tonight. So if you don't know, my name is Bea. I'm a college and career counselor with CUSD-Futureology. CUSD-Futureology is Capistrano Unified School District's free college and career counseling program. We are a team of 4 counselors and an amazing coordinator, and together we provide counseling services in the area of college and career for students in the district. If you have never met with us before, we invite you to please meet with us after today. You might have some questions, and you might want to really dive into your research into trades and vocational programs. So please don't be shy. We talk to students one-on-one. We have webinars. We have workshops for students. We're available for you at school, online, at various locations, and in the evenings to support your schedule and the schedules of the adults in your life. So please reach out to us if you've never met with us. We're really happy to have you with us tonight. I'm joined here by every team member from Futureology, all of our counselors. I'm so happy to have all of them with us tonight. So you are in really good hands. So let's talk about tonight's agenda. You came because you are curious, right, about trades, about careers in vocational skilled trades, right? So we're going to define a couple things, because sometimes you might hear a word and it might confuse you. I know personally back in the day, trades, vocational programs, apprenticeships, they were all kind of jumbled up together. So we're going to define what each of those means so that you have a clear understanding of what these things are, right? After that, we're going to talk about the why, right? Why are you here? Why is it beneficial to a person to perhaps pursue a skilled trade or vocational profession? We're going to talk about how you can pursue this route, okay? So after defining what these things are, after talking about why you might want to pursue this route, we're going to talk about how you can actually begin the process of researching programs and pathways for you to pursue a skilled trade career. Finally, we're going to wrap up with some exploration tools that you leave today with tools that you can use right away to begin your search. And of course, I'll stay back for questions, and we invite you again to meet with somebody from our team if you have follow-up questions. This presentation is going to be recorded, so if you want to revisit it, it will be available on our YouTube channel by the end of this. So let's start with some definitions, okay? We want to understand what a trade is, right? What a technical school or program is. I have a question for you, actually. How many of you, and you can put this in the chat box, how many of you think you know the definitions to these things on the screen, right? Trade, technical school, apprenticeship. You can answer with a smiley face, a yes or a no. How many of you feel like you know what these things mean? No? Okay, so I'm getting some people who are like, I don't know, right? I'm not sure. And just so that you know, your chats are coming directly to us. Nobody else can see that. All right, cool. So let's talk about it. So what is a trade career? First and foremost, what do we mean when we say a trade? You might hear some people, some seniors saying, oh, I'm pursuing a trade, right? What does that mean? So let's break it down. So first of all, a trade is a career, right? A career path that requires some kind of training, some kind of very specialized training in a very specific skill. And that kind of training is not necessarily through a bachelor's degree, okay? So trade careers are very specific. They're skilled careers. They require very specific knowledge in a particular area. Now, for these careers, for the most part, you don't need a bachelor's degree, a 4-year college degree, in other words, to be able to pursue a trade career, okay? So a lot of the times trade careers involve less years of training than one would get from a bachelor's degree, right? And again, it's very specific, okay? Many of these professions, they require significant experience and training. So while it might be less than 4 years for a bachelor's degree, right? It's less than that. It still involves experience. Some of them involve on-the-job work experience and training in order to obtain a career in this area, in the particular trade that you're interested in. But trades, again, they require very significant experience to be able to pursue the career of your choice. Furthermore, right, training for trades can happen different ways. We're going to talk about all the different ways you can train and get experience and be educated in a trade, but they can be gained through different ways. It's not college typically, right? So sometimes you'll get on-the-job training in addition to classroom instruction in the form of something called an apprenticeship, which we'll talk about in a second. Sometimes you'll complete a vocational or trade school program, right? Where you're actually going to a specific school or participating in a specific program to learn that particular skill. I'm going to break it down even more in a little bit, but we're just kind of getting started with what is a trade career for those of you who just joined us, okay? Finally, although a lot of you might think that trades involve manual physical labor, right? I think a big misconception for people is that they think that trades, entering a trade means that you are purely working with your hands. It's physical, manual, hard labor, and that's all it is. And that's simply not true. We're going to discuss the different types of trades you can actually pursue, and many of them do not involve manual labor, right? Working with your hands and working outdoors. Although many of them do include that too, if you like that kind of thing. So there's a little bit of something for everybody within the trades, but that's just a big misconception that we want to demystify, is that trades are all physical manual labor jobs. They are not, okay? So a trade career is, again, a career, a pathway that you choose that is very specific in the skill set. So you have to get training in that trade to be able to do that job, okay? So if you think about it, right, skilled tradespeople, people who work in trades, they have a massive impact on our lives. We don't think about the day-to-day driving on a highway, going to school, going to the doctor. How many skilled tradespeople go into making that a fruitful, enjoyable experience for you, driving on a beautifully paved highway, right? Driving over a beautifully constructed bridge, walking into a building that is fully functioning and really nice, right? Think about your home. A home involves many different components. To live in a home, to buy a home, to build a home. We're talking about skilled tradespeople who are required to make this thing happen. You can see here on the visual, right? What goes into a home? They're built by tradespeople, right? Electricians, carpenters, plumbers, all sorts of different specialties go into constructing this one structure. And this is just a home. There's so many other things and other areas that tradespeople work in, but your home is one of them. Furthermore, we're looking at something like your car, right? The thing that you drive to and from school, or that, your parent might use to drive you to school. Tradespeople are involved in the manufacturing, the building, the maintenance, the repair of vehicles, cars, trains, buses, airplanes, right? We need people to specialize in these areas. So when we think of something as simple as your car, the car that you drive, we're looking at fabricators, right? Machinists, mechanical drafters, automotive technicians, auto body repair technicians. Even just with cars alone, there's so many things. It's not just being an automotive technician, right? And I just want you to get a sense, start to get a sense of the number of people, skilled craftsmen that goes into making all of these things that we enjoy, and building all of these things that we enjoy from, day to day. If we think about your school, right? Some of you are, actually all of you probably in here are in high school, right? When you walk onto your campus, tradespeople, builders, repairs, electricians, plumbers, HVAC specialists. They are all involved in the construction of a structure like a school or a mall, right? Or any other building that we walk into. We don't think about it often, but they are the backbone of society. Without them, we cannot function, and there is a major shortage of people who specialize in these areas in our country. And these are just some examples, right? Your school, your car, the buildings that you walk into, right? The highways that you drive on. This doesn't include the community that you live in, the other skilled tradespeople that bring you joy in life, your hairstylist, your cosmetologist, right? The medical assistant that greets you at the doctor, that intakes you before you meet with your doctor, right? The dental assistant who's helping you prepare for your annual or biannual teeth cleaning, right? These are all skilled tradespeople, and they make society function. They make things livable, right? They make things enjoyable. So there are so many areas within the skilled trades that you can participate in, that you can specialize in. So let's talk about that, okay? I'm going to take a pause here because I do want to get a sense of who is in the room with us as more people begin to join us. Can you please tell me what grade level you're in, just so that I have an idea of where you are in your planning process, okay? So if you could do me a favor and tell me what grade level you are in, that will give me a good sense of where everybody is. You should be seeing the poll right now, and you're welcome to answer that poll. It is anonymous. And if you don't want to answer the poll, you can pop your grade level into the chat box. Beautiful, thank you. So I see some juniors in here. Okay, great. Awesome. Okay, we have a good amount of juniors in here. Thank you for participating in that. Beautiful. Okay, so we have some extra information that might be very beneficial to you juniors in here. So I'm really glad that you're in here, okay? Let's explore the different types of trades. Now, I'm about to break down trades into sectors for you, okay? This is one way of categorizing trades. Is this the only way to categorize trades? No, but I do want you to start wrapping your mind around the different sectors that you can pursue if you are interested in a trade. And we're gonna start with construction trades, okay? Everybody has different personality traits, so I'm going to try to match personality traits with the different sectors that we're going to discuss, so that you can begin kind of thinking about what might align with your personal interest, values, and strengths, okay? So construction trades focus on building, altering, remodeling, repairing, demolishing, improving, right? Buildings, structures, roads, bridges, highways. Anything that you ride on, you walk on, you enter, construction is involved in that, right? So in the construction trades, you have many different skilled professions. You have carpenters, you have carpet installers, electricians, painters, plumbers, right? HVAC installers who install heating and air conditioning units, right? To name a few. So these people interested in construction trades tend to be what we would call realistic personality types. I'm going to discuss this a little bit more later with you, but these people tend to like to work with their hands, which makes sense, right? They like to do, they don't want to sit, they don't want to be in front of a computer all day, right? They'd rather be out there, and they enjoy a certain level of physicality in their work. So if you're thinking, yes, I like to move, I don't want to be sitting in the same place all day, I want to be outside, right? I want to be working with different types of people every day. If that kind of aligns with your specific interests, this could be a really great route for you to take. But the big takeaway from construction trades is that they are doers, right? They like moving, they like being around different environments because you will be moving from project to project, right? So it's not going to be the same work environment day in and day out. It will change over time. So again, construction, building, right? Constructing, repairing, erecting, and then demolishing. It's all part of the construction trades world. Moving on to another realm of trades, right? We have transportation and mechanical trades. So for those of you who want to enter maybe the world of automotive technicians, right? To repair things. This is where that might fall, is transportation and or mechanical trades. This also includes bus drivers as well, but it also includes the people who fix the buses, right? They work in areas where they are responsible for designing, right? Tools, using tools, designing machinery, and using machinery. So these people have an understanding of tools and machinery, because they are responsible for not only the design of it, but also the use of it in repairing, for example, something that needs fixing, right? That could be a train, it could be a plane, it could be a big rig or an everyday car, okay? People who work in transportation and mechanical trades, they are also realistic personality types, which is to say that, again, they are doers. They are not sitting at a computer all day. They tend to be moving a lot. Their jobs are quite physical for the most part, okay? In addition to this, in addition to being physical doer type people, they are also something we would call investigative. So people who work in these trades are problem solvers, right? That would make sense, right? Working in machines, if you want to think of it that way. You have to understand parts. You have to understand how tools work to repair things, and you are sometimes responsible for diagnosing a problem in a vehicle, for example, and then fixing that problem. So not only are they doers, they're also problem solvers. They like to work with their hands and their brains, okay? So another type of trade that you can pursue is manufacturing and industrial trades, right? So people in these trades are responsible for building or making something or fixing something that is broken, okay? It could be anything. It could be a house, it could be a bridge, an air conditioning unit, and more, okay? But they are also doers, right? They like to do, they like to work with their hands. And again, they're also problem solvers. So if you're thinking to yourself, I like to work on puzzles, I like to figure things out, I like to look at parts of things and try to figure out how they work, this would be a really great route for you to take. And this includes welding, right? Being a machinist, a metal fabricator. And if you've never heard of some of these things, after today, I invite you to explore. This is kind of part of your job, right? As a student, is to explore these after today, understanding that we'll be here to support you along the way as well. Now I'm going to shift gear in trades, right? So we were talking a lot about doing trades, physical trades, right? That kind of traditional manual labor type trade. But what a lot of people don't know is that trades also involve careers in medical health sciences, patient care, right? And they involve jobs that aren't necessarily physical, right? So medical trades is a really good example of that, right? Medical trades include things like being a dental assistant, being a surgical technician, being a respiratory therapist, right? All of these things have been critical over the past 2 years as we have needed more and more healthcare workers. So when you think of healthcare, when you think of medicine, we're not just talking doctors, we are not just talking nurses, we are talking about all those other people that make a hospital or a doctor's office run. Without these people, these places cannot operate. I can't emphasize enough how important these roles are and how vital they are to the industries that they're in, right? We cannot function without these people, and they get paid quite well as well, right? And we'll talk about that as we go on tonight, right? But medical trades include, again, paramedics, firefighters could fall under that, or public service, right? So if you're interested in this world, but you don't want to go to medical school, right? You don't want to pursue a bachelor's of science in nursing or an associate's degree in nursing. If you want to work in the medical world, but you don't want to go through all of that education and you don't want to spend all that money, there are things that you can pursue, careers that you can pursue that will cost you less and that will make you a really good living, okay? Now, personality wise, right? So far, we have discussed trades that are really aligned with doers. I keep saying that, people who like to work, be outside, work with their hands, work with tools. Medical trade professionals They have an element of that, right? But a lot of them, what's different about a lot of them is that they tend to be social personality types. So people interested in medical trades like to help others. So when you hear social as a personality type, I'm talking people who want to be of service to others. So that's another thing that you can think about is entering a trade is not built just building, not just repairing, right? Not just creating, but it is also helping. It is also supporting others, right? And in this case, in the medical world. So if you are a helper and a doer, this might be a really good place for you to start your exploration is within the medical trades. Okay. Another thing actually about medical trades that I'm going to mention before I move on is that the personality type that does really well in these careers are something that we call conventional, okay? Conventional personality types love order. If you love procedures, if you like following rules, you're really meticulous, you have attention to detail, and you find security in having procedures, steps to fulfill, medical trades are really good for you because they're very procedure focused, okay? Just a little food for thought. As we move on to the final kind of trade category that I wanted to discuss with you, which is service trades. I love service trades, right? Service trades, they play a key role in making our lives better, in making life enjoyable. They are just the spice of your day-to-day, right? They are our chefs, our bakers, our jewelers, our hairstylists, right? Our graphic designers, our estheticians, to name a few. But these people, interestingly, as far as personality traits go, right? They are social, definitely. They like to be around people, they like to help people and work with other people. But what I think is really unique about the personality traits that people interested in service traits typically is that they are what we would call artistic personality types. And artistic doesn't necessarily mean that you are a painter or a music composer, right? Artistic simply means that you want to be creative in your work, that you like that autonomy, that you like flexibility in your work. People who work in service trades are creatives, right? They enjoy a certain level of flexibility in their day-to-day, and they also like working around other people, which is why we find service trades within our community, right? Because they are very integral, they're very important to our community and to making our lives better. So I just wanted to give you a quick kind of run through of different areas, different trade sectors that you might want to consider as you're thinking about entering a very skilled trade profession. So those were examples of trade sectors, trade careers, right? Because again, a trade is a specialized career that involves a very specific skill set. Let's go on to talk about some more definitions because I want you to be really well versed in this by the end of this so that you understand what all these terms mean. So what is a technical school? Some of you might have heard this. You might have heard like, oh, I'm going to a tech school. I'm going to this particular school, right? So what does that mean, a tech school? So actually, first note, right? Cost on average for a tech school can cost up to $33,000 total. And this is the average number across the country. That on average, a technical school will cost you about $33,000. So it can be quite pricey if you decide to go to a private tech school, right? But let's talk a little bit more about this. So tech schools usually refer to institutions that offer maybe an associate's degree, which is like a 2-year kind of college degree, or a certification that is necessary to enter a job, right? So tech schools offer you very specific training so that you can hit the road and go right into a career once you're done with that training program. Technical schools can be completed in about 1 to 2 years, so it's not several years of commitment. They tend to be quite short in terms of how long they are. Some tech programs last months, right? Others can last, again, up to 2 years, and they involve sometimes a mixture of classroom instruction. In fact, there will be a lot of classroom instruction, but also simulated job training where you can practice your skills in a classroom setting, right? Furthermore, there is no general education in technical school. So you know how some people go off to college, right? And they're there for 4 years or more. Part of their education is something called general education, where you have to take math and science and social science and perhaps a foreign language to fulfill the graduation requirement. Technical schools get down to business. They are there for the sole purpose of teaching you that specific skill that you need so that you can go get a job and make your money and move on with your life. So for those of you who are like, I'm not here for the general education, I don't feel like I need to learn, any more science or social science. I just want to learn the skills so that I can do this job. Technical schools would be a route for you to pursue a trade, right? This is one way for you to pursue a trade. So that's technical school. So some of you might have heard of a trade school instead. So what is a trade school? Well, a trade school, again, can be completed in 1 or 2 years. They're very similar, and you'll find ultimately that they can be kind of interchanged, okay? So when you hear trade or technical school, people are often kind of referring to the same thing, so don't get too worked up about it. But this is another way that you can pursue a trade, is by going to a trade school. They tend to be more hands-on. Technical schools, right? Classroom-based learning. You're learning kind of theory behind the skill and what goes into the work required for the job. Trade schools can be more hands-on, so it's a lot more doing in this case, right? So there is usually a base level of certification that you earn at a trade school, and sometimes there's also on-the-job supervision and training that is required as part of the trade school. Again, it can be thought of as something that is more for the labor-focused industries, right? Like welding, HVAC, plumbing, right? Auto mechanics, carpenters. So trade schools, I think, we associate that more with those more hands-on jobs, whereas technical schools, we're thinking more cybersecurity, right? We're thinking more kind of like dental assisting, so technical skills, lab technician, right? Whereas trade schools are a little bit more hands-on. The cost of a trade school is similar to the cost of a tech school because, again, they can kind of be used interchangeably, okay? So we're going to use that $33,000 on average for a trade school because these are typically private programs that you pay for to get these specialized skills training in, okay? So far we've talked about trade and technical schools, and those are 2 ways that you can pursue a trade, okay? So you might have also heard of something called a vocational program or a vocational school. So what does that mean? You can think of this as an umbrella term, okay? So if we say vocational program, we're probably talking about a trade or technical school, okay? So it is the umbrella that encompasses, that is kind of going over the trade and technical school categories, okay? And again, they tend to be 1 or 2 years. So those are 3 different things that I just discussed, right? Trade school, technical school, and vocational program or school. What I want you to understand at the end of the day is that these terms will be used interchangeably. So depending on who you're talking to, right, or what resource you're looking at, they might use one of those terms, but it means kind of all of the same thing, which is essentially, it is a training program for you to pursue a trade, okay? Trade school, technical school, vocational school, they are there to get you training in a specific trade. There are little nuances, but that's all you need to know right now, okay? So trade, technical, vocational schools, one way to get training to pursue a trade. What's another way that you can do this? Well, another way is to pursue an apprenticeship, okay? Some of you might have heard of an apprenticeship. Tell me in the chat box, who in here has heard of an apprenticeship before? Who has heard of an apprenticeship before? And you can let me know in the chat, yes or no. Maybe you've known somebody who has. Okay, so somebody has in here. Thank you for participating, letting me know. Okay, so at least one of you in here have heard of an apprenticeship. Okay, most of you, beautiful. All right, so let's see if I can share something new or insightful with you, for those of you who know, okay? So an apprenticeship is a way for students, and for not students only, but people, adults, right? to get training and get paid at the same time. So we'll start with the cost, right? Because that's important. The cost of an apprenticeship is essentially free, okay? It is the earn while you learn model, which means that while you are working under the guidance of a mentor, you will be getting paid for that time, okay? This is the benefit of an apprenticeship that makes it different from trade, technical, vocational school, okay? For those, you're paying for those. You're putting money into those. And as we saw earlier, what was the average cost? It was $33,000 on average in the country to pay for a technical or trade school, right? Compared to an apprenticeship where you are getting paid to get trained, which is really cool, right? So it is the earn to learn, earn while you learn model. So it's practically free because you are getting paid while you're getting trained by a mentor. And there are levels, right, of this apprenticeship. And over the course of your time in an apprenticeship, you will level up essentially. Sometimes you'll be asked to pay for your own tools, maybe your own uniforms, right? So those costs might fall onto you as the apprentice, but for the rest of it, you are getting paid. Okay, so let's talk more about apprenticeships. So this is industry driven, which means apprenticeships exist because employers, right, companies, they need skilled workers. And what better way to get the skilled worker of your dreams than to train them in your company by people who are already doing a good job in your company, right? So this is a way for employers to make sure that they are getting their ideal employee, right? They're going to incentivize you and say, hey, come work for us. We'll pay you. And we're going to train you exactly how we need you to do this very specialized job. And by the end of this, you're going to be making a really good wage. So it's driven by companies. It's driven by industries because they want highly skilled employees. And in order to do that, they're going to try to incentivize you, right? Convince you to come by paying you to get trained by a mentor, by a skilled worker, okay? So again, you're getting work experience, but you're getting paid work experience. For most apprenticeships, not only are you working, right? Excuse me, you're working and getting experience day to day, typically full time, right? Sometimes part time. But you're also going to be getting instruction so that you're getting formal training as well. So you're going to get hands-on training in the field, right? But you're also going to get probably some kind of related classroom instruction so that you are learning other important theory-based skills and knowledge that you need for the job as well. So it's a combination of both kind of classroom instruction, right? Relevant classroom instruction and hands-on training. Not only that, if you are part of a registered apprenticeship that is recognized by, the entire country, then your credential, your training is what we would call portable. Portable meaning that you can take it with you anywhere. You can get training in this apprenticeship, go out of state and get a job out there as a welder, for example, right? So portable credentials are really nice because it means that you can take it anywhere and get a job anywhere that you might need to go, wherever life might take you, okay? And this is nationally recognized. And again, just to reiterate, it's structured on the job training by an experienced mentor. So it's really great for those of you who want to make money right off the bat, who don't have time to waste, who want to get your hands in there immediately, get that skill training up front and get paid for it, right? So this is a really cost-effective way of getting training in a trade, is to seek out an apprenticeship so that you can get paid to learn, essentially, okay? So those were our definitions. What is a trade career? What is a trade technical vocational program, right? It's just one way of learning a trade. And then what is an apprenticeship? Another way of learning a trade. And as you can see, the cost will vary. So why pursue a trade? There is a video that I'm not going to play for you right now, okay? Because I want to honor your time, but I do invite you to watch the video after today because it makes some really good points about how valuable trade professions are and the benefit of pursuing a trade profession and how it weighs against getting into a profession that might require like a 4-year college degree. right? And the earning potential for somebody who enters a trade compared to somebody who enters a profession who requires a college degree. So watch that in your own time. But I want to go into some numbers with you to understand why you might want to explore a trade. First of all, college is not for every type of learner. It's not for every type of student, right? Not all of us are here to sit in a classroom and to learn about everything there is to know about everything. Some of us do not operate that way. In fact, 20% of CUSD graduates do not pursue higher education because that is not for them, right? And trades are a potential pathway for students who do not wish to pursue that general education, right? Who want to get into a career immediately, who know or have a knack or interest in a specific trade and want to go into it right away. Every learner is different. You learn differently from every other person in this room, and you have different strengths and values compared to every other person in this room. And the fact of the matter is that a lot of us, right, are not built to go off to college and to pursue that pathway, because that's not how we learn and that's not how we function in life day to day. So keep this in mind, that if you are a doer, like I was saying earlier, right, if you want to be out there in the world doing things, shaking it up, and perhaps working in an environment that allows you to really express a specific skill that you have or want to learn, a trade might be a really good option for you. Why pursue a trade? Return on investment. What does return on investment mean? It means how much are you getting back for what you're putting in, basically. So research has shown that people who pursue trades have a 6 times higher return on investment than their college-going counterparts. Okay, so for those who have entered a trade, they're getting back 6 times more than the average college-going graduate, as far as what they put into getting training for the trade and what they get out of it. And this includes, lifetime savings. It includes the cost that goes into getting training. It includes the pension benefits, right? The retirement benefits of being in a trade. That return on investment is really high. So you're getting a lot of bang for your buck by pursuing a trade career. Furthermore, right, happiness is really important. And research has shown that 83% of tradespeople find satisfaction in their work. This is increasingly important. Some of you might have heard of the Great Resignation, right? Where people are increasingly unhappy with their careers. Jobs are hard to find, right? And there's this high demand for skilled workers. People want to be happy. They want to connect to their work, and they want to feel like what they are doing matters. And this survey, actually, that was conducted, I think, in 2021, indicated that 83% of people who work in trades are satisfied with their jobs. They feel that connection to their work, and they find that there's meaning in the things that they do. In addition to that, people who work in trades have job security. We need skilled trades people. We do not have enough of them. So you will always have job security in a trade. Overall compensation is another reason why people are so happy and satisfied with working in a trade. They tend to get paid quite well, quite consistently, right, with that job security. And they have flexibility and they have really good work hours, which is all kind of contributing to this 83% satisfaction rate, okay? So one last thing I want you to think about as we're thinking about why pursuing a trade and what what is important to trades. I want you to think about yourself and if this aligns with you. These are the top 3 attributes based on a survey nationally, right, of what trades are looking for. They're looking for somebody who has a desire to learn. They are looking for somebody with a positive attitude, and they're looking for somebody with physical endurance. These are the top 3 characteristics, right? So we don't see here that they need you to have a 4.0 GPA. You don't see here that they need you to be anything but willing to learn, to be enthusiastic about learning, and to be willing to put in some work, right? If you have these attributes, you can succeed within a trade. So let's talk about how you can pursue a trade. This is probably why a lot of you are in here. So we're going to talk about how you can begin pursuing a trade. First step is important, okay? The first step is that you have to understand yourself. I would be remiss as a counselor if I didn't tell you this, right? You have to understand your personality. You have to understand what matters to you, what you want out of life, what you're interested in, what you're good at, right? We'll talk about how you can do this a little bit later, but this is step one. You need to get a sense of your personality so that you can align careers with your personality. That's the second step, is that you begin to explore careers, trades, right, that align with your personality, with what you want out of the job, okay? You want to learn about how much money you're going to make in this trade or in this career, right? What the industry growth looks like. Are you going to have job security when you're done training for this specific career? You want to know these things so that you're making an informed decision about the potential trade that you're going into. And then finally, you have to decide, well, okay, I think I really want to pursue this trade. How am I going to get training for it? Like, where am I going to go? How do I start this? And for you juniors in here, this is perfect timing. Like, this summer could be dedicated for you towards doing this, right? Is discovering what you can do so that by fall, we can help you apply for these programs and get yourself set up so that when you graduate, you're ready to hit the ground running, okay? So let's explore your options. How can we pursue trades and careers, right? How can we pursue the training to pursue a trade? So first of all, you have access to career technical education training right now. As a student at CUSD, you can take advantage of College and Career Advantage. That is our district's college and, that is our district's career technical education program, okay? As a high school student, you can take these classes for free. Our career technical education classes, otherwise known as our CCA classes. How many of you have heard of CCA or have taken a CCA class? Let me see that in the chat box. Have you ever heard of CCA? Have you taken a CCA class? And as you're answering that, right, CCA gives you the opportunity to get technical training in a particular area. You can get certification. Sometimes you can get college credit for some of these classes, right? These are classes that teach you very specific career technical skills, and they're different from your academic classes and your academic electives at your high school right now. These classes are very industry specific. So if you have an inkling that you're interested in something, if you in your mind are like, man, I think I want to get into like computer information sciences, but I'm not sure, we offer AP Computer Science. That's a CCA class. You're going to learn programming languages in that class, right? We have cybersecurity, right? For those of you who are interested in working in that area. We offer very specific courses that you will be able to take and walk away from those classes with specific skills that can get you jobs like right off the bat, okay? So your training, my takeaway from this is that your training can start now. This is an example of what you can do. This is an example of the CCA class that we have. We offer emergency medical technician. I highlighted it. You can kind of see it there, right? We offer EMT as a class, and students in our district are welcome to take EMT. Some of the schools offer them during the day, and we definitely offer EMT after school for those of you who don't have a high school campus. Through EMT, you can get the training that you need to then sit for the exam, right, to become registered through the National Register. So through that class, you can get prepared for that exam, right, to enter into the career of an EMT. EMTs, on average, make about $34,000 a year, right? But they can make as much as $57,000 a year at the higher end of the salary spectrum. So think about that. As a high school graduate, having taken this class and sitting for the National Registry exam afterwards, if you pass that exam, you could exit high school making $34,000 to $57,000 a year, right? And that didn't take any more than a school year because that's a 2-semester class. So just know that we have these classes offered to you for free so that you can begin your training. If you're interested in becoming a firefighter, if you're interested in becoming a nurse, I strongly suggest that you consider something like EMT because it gives you invaluable experience in patient care. And to become a firefighter, you do need to be an EMT, okay? So just some morsels of, thought for you as you're thinking about what to pursue while you're in school right now in high school. What you might not know is that College and Career Advantage, CCA, also offers adult classes for our graduates and the people in our community. So let's say you're a senior in here or you're a junior and you don't have time for a CCA class. I want you to know that when you graduate, you can pursue a CCA class for free and get training in specific areas, okay? So that you can, again, enter the world of work with very little time commitment. These courses will last anywhere between maybe a semester's kind of length to maybe an entire school year's length, if you want to think of it that way.
Again, they are completely free. These are some examples of some of the courses that we offer in the adult program so that when you do graduate, you have access to these training programs. We have things like surgical technologist, medical assistant, right? In California, surgical technologists make about $64,000 a year, right? And the range is anywhere between $31,000 and $76,000 a year for this one class that you can take that you'd be done with within a year through CCA for free. Dental assistants in California make about $44,000 a year. Think about that again, right after high school, right? Not spending money on tuition, getting training within 6 to maybe 8, 9, 10 months, and being able to make that kind of money right off the bat could be a really great transition for somebody who just wants to start working or might need to start working, right? So that's another option for you is our CCA adult program. And I link to all of this moving on, and you are going to get a copy of these slides with all of the linked resources, okay? This is an example of the CCA adult class, cybersecurity, right? This is something that's offered to our high school students and also to our adult graduates as well. And with this job, finishing this program, right, for cybersecurity, a cybersecurity technician on average in the US can make about $72,000 a year, right? The mid range is somewhere between $35,000 and $89,000 a year. And all you need is a baseline of this training, the cybersecurity training, to begin that work as a cybersecurity analyst or technician. So we're not talking about low wage jobs here. We're talking about high wage, livable wage jobs, okay? So just know that this is an option for you in our district. As a high school student and as a high school graduate, you have access to CCA classes. Now, another option for you to pursue a trade is a trade or technical school. We talked about this earlier. The takeaway you can see highlighted in red is that it costs a lot. I think that's the biggest con of a trade or a tech school, if we're thinking pros and cons, is that they can be really expensive, right? There is sometimes financial aid, oftentimes financial aid where you can get loans for these programs. You might even qualify for a Cal grant, which is free money from the state based on your need, right, to pay for a trade or technical school in California. But it doesn't change the fact that the tuition is in that kind of tens of thousands realm. So it can be expensive for a lot of students, right? But at a trade or technical school, you are again learning the skills that you need, like we discussed earlier. They can take months, they can take years. It can be anywhere between 9 months to 2 years to get the training that you need, right? And there are technical and trade schools for all sorts of different trades and careers: automotive technician, welding, cosmetology, right? Beauty school, some of us know it as, right? But cosmetology schools, collision repair, auto body repair, right? CNC machining, all sorts of different things. So you can go to a trade or technical school and get the training. I have met with a lot of students who have come to me asking me about Universal Technical Institute. This is an example of a trade school. I just want to provide an example for you. They offer a certificate in welding, which is a 9-month program, right? And after this program, students learn all different processes of welding so that they can go out and get a job, which is great, right? But again, the cost of this program can be really prohibitive. It can prevent students from attending because it can cost them tens of thousands of dollars for this program. So that's one of my biggest kind of, I guess, warnings for you if you're considering a trade or tech school is consider the cost, talk to a counselor about it to see if there are other options for you. And we're going to talk about other options in a second that are basically free, okay? But trade and technical schools are technically an option for you. I link here to UTI for you to explore as an example. One of the pros of a tech school is that you can get really specific training. So not only do you get trained to become an automotive technician, you can become trained to become a BMW or Toyota specialist, right? So they can get really specific in their training, which can potentially earn you more money going into a specialty like that. But you still have to consider the cost at the end of the day. These are some examples of trade schools. This is just a handful. There are a ton of trade schools in California. I'm just listing some of them for you here. We have UTI, we have COBA Academy, which is a cosmetology school for those of you who want to become hairstylists. We have the Associated Barber College of San Diego for those of you who want to become a barber, right? Just some examples. You want to make sure that these schools are accredited, and the primary accrediting agency for trade schools will be the Accrediting Commission of Career Schools and Colleges. So one thing that I want you to look for if you are looking into a trade school is that they are accredited. If you need help looking for that, please contact your counselor or somebody from the CUSD-Futureology team so that we can help you vet these schools. We don't want you getting into a situation where you're getting trained at a school that is not accredited, right? Especially when you're paying that much money. So we talked about CCA, which is our district's career technical education. We have talked about tech or trade schools, right? Those private schools that you can get training at. We're talking now about apprenticeships, which we touched on earlier. Again, apprenticeships, learn while you earn. Practically free to get the training. You're getting paid right off the bat. A lot of these jobs do start off as minimum wage jobs as you're starting off in the apprenticeship, but they do increase in pay over time as you get more experience. And with time, you do get paid more. And some of them do start higher than minimum wage. So I want you to keep that in mind, right? So apprenticeships, you can find, I'm going to link to apprenticeship.gov, which is going to be a reliable source for you to look up apprenticeships that are going to be registered apprenticeships where you know that the training that you get will be recognized nationally, right? Where that credential will be portable, like we discussed earlier, where you can take this training and experience anywhere and get a job anywhere, right? But this is an example on the screen for an apprenticeship position for a welder. I looked this up on apprenticeship.gov. I looked for welding positions at Costa Mesa, California, and the closest one was in Carson, so LA County, right? But this is an example of a position. So for apprenticeships, you apply for them like you apply for jobs, okay? So it's not like school application, it's a work application. You'll see here as the example, salary is $25 to $45 an hour for this welding apprenticeship position. That's pretty darn good, right, as a start. And you'll see more details about it, but you can search for apprenticeships for after you graduate so that you can get a job right away and get that training on the job, okay? And then another great option, and not only is it free, you're getting paid to do it. So that's always the benefit, right? So another option that I am a huge fan of, and you're going to hear me geek out on in a big way, are our community college career education programs. I don't know if you know this, you're here to learn this, right? My job is to tell you this, but community colleges in our state have a really amazing career education side, okay? They can train you in skilled trades like a trade or technical program can do for virtually $0. If you want to participate in the California Promise program, you can and still pursue a certification, right? Or a trade program at a community college. And for those of you who don't know, the Promise program is free tuition for all students. And this is for students who are first-time freshmen at community colleges. Okay, so for my juniors in here, you're rising seniors. You're thinking about applications and jobs next year. So I want you to keep this on your radar. Community colleges are a great resource for you if you want skilled training. You can pursue training in things like I said earlier, welding, becoming an electrician, right? Going into law enforcement, pursuing cosmetology, going into culinary arts, going into nursing, becoming a paramedic, right? All of these trade skilled professions, you can get training for this at the community college level for free. This is an example. We looked at welding. I'm using welding as my kind of across the board example. You saw earlier that UTI, the trade school, offered welding, right? That cost will be in the tens of thousands of dollars, and that program is 9 months. OCC, Orange Coast College, also offers welding as a program. This program can last anywhere between 1 to 1.5 years, depending on the certification that you want, because they offer different welding certifications, right? But their longest program, I believe, is about 1.5 years to complete, and it would be 100% free for you. Okay, as long as you meet the promised program parameters at the community college, it would be free. Welding technology is, again, my example for OCC, but OCC and all of our community colleges in the state offer really robust trade skills training, okay? This is a list for you. I want you to get a sense of the opportunities that you have at our local community colleges. Only 4 listed here for you. There are many others in the area that you can pursue, but we have here Irvine Valley College, Saddleback, Orange Coast, and Santa Ana. Okay, I listed a few notable programs that you can pursue in their career education programs. Again, these would be free through the California Promise program, okay? But these are some notable programs that you can pursue right after you graduate, all right? We're talking paralegals. That's a skilled profession that you need specific training in. You can become a paralegal after attending the Irvine Valley College program or even the Santa Ana College program, because they both offer that, right? Saddleback has an amazing nursing program that you can pursue. You can also become a paramedic through Saddleback, right? You can get a real estate license after getting training at Saddleback. At OCC, they're known for their architectural technology program for designing, right? They're known for their aviation program if you want to become a pilot or an aviation maintenance technologist, right? They are known for their welding program. And all sorts of other awesome programs there. And then, of course, Santa Ana College has their fire academy, so you can pursue your fire science training there. You can pursue your law enforcement training there if you want to go into law enforcement. They also offer other courses like networking, fashion merchandising, web design, okay? So I want you to begin to understand the opportunities that you have for you that are going to be really accessible and affordable. It's important. We don't want you spending a ton of money when you don't have to, and these programs exist to make these careers accessible so that you can access them, okay? Really big note for my juniors in here, especially if you are interested in any of the community college programs, and I link to them. Back here, when you get the slides, if you click on any of these colleges, it will take you straight to the career education page for the colleges, so you can explore the programs. But please, if you are a junior and you want to pursue this route, okay? If you want to pursue this route and you want to do it for free, you must complete your FAFSA or your California Dream Act application in the fall. This is the financial aid application that seniors complete as they apply to college and trade and vocational schools, okay? This is one of the biggest steps that you need to complete in order to qualify for the Promise program at the community colleges. And I want you to add any community colleges of interest on that application when you complete it. This application opens up on October 1st for seniors, so please keep that in mind, okay? If you have questions about that, come to us. We are going to be here in the fall to support you. Our job is to make sure that you are able to pursue the educational pathway that you need to get to the career that you need, okay? So let's talk exploration tools. We're almost done. You're doing great. We're going to start with personal exploration. I'm going to go through this quickly because I expect you to look at the slides afterwards and do these steps on your own. But the first step, like I mentioned earlier, was you have to explore yourself. You have to understand what makes you tick in the world. And in order to do that, we're going to have you take an assessment. So you'll do this after today if you want, and I will include instructions on how to complete a Holland Code assessment, okay? The Holland Code assessment you can take on a website, and it's going to tell you your career personality, and it's actually going to give you suggested careers based on your results. Remember how I was listing different personality types for those trade sectors earlier, like realistic or investigative or artistic? This is what I was referring to. I was referring specifically to this assessment that is used in career counseling all the time, all over the world. You're going to be asked to respond to statements on a scale of deathly hate to really, really love and everything in between. go with your gut and just go with how you react to that activity. It's not a job questionnaire, it's a activity questionnaire. So just think, oh, does building kitchen cabinets sound fun to me? Not do I want to do it for the rest of my life? Okay, so keep that in mind. You're going to get results like this with your career personality, right? You are going to see what your Holland code is, and then you'll get a list of careers that you can explore. Okay, so that's what it's going to look like. But I do want to move on to honor your time. Okay, my friends? So this is how you take the assessment, and you will get these instructions when we share the presentation with you at the end of today's webinar, okay? So after you explore yourself, you're going to explore the trades, right? You're going to explore what it means to be a welder, what it means to be a machinist, right? Or a glazier, right? So Trades Hub is a really easy to use career exploration website resource for trade careers. I love this. It gives you salary breakdowns. It gives you specific skills that you would need to succeed in this career. So use this as a way to explore trades. Another way that you can explore trades is by watching Toughest Tales. One of my colleagues, Kristen, loves this show, and it is a show on trades, right? On different trades. So this is a really easy way for you just to kind of lay back and have a little fun and be entertained, but learn about all sorts of amazing careers out there that you've never heard of that make really good wages. After you explore trades and careers, right, and get a sense of, okay, this sounds really great, this aligns with my personality, this makes really good money, how do I get the training? How do I pursue this as soon as possible? These are the resources, okay? So first of all is Program Finder. I love Program Finder. This is going to connect you to free and or affordable career education in Southern California. This is probably going to end up connecting you to a lot of community colleges, because that's what it's kind of linked up with, okay? So if you want to explore what community colleges have to offer by way of your specific trade interest, whether that's fire science or welding or graphic design, right, or respiratory therapy, you can search for programs based on your interest, and it will tell you all of the training options that you have in Southern California. Really good option to find affordable training, okay? Another place to go is Career One Stop. This is your one-stop shop. You can explore. You can take a career personality assessment on this site. You can look up training programs. You can look up trade schools, right? You can look for jobs. This is where you'll go to get all the information you need on pursuing a skilled trade career. So another really great resource for you as well. And again, when you get this, click on the link because it's linked for you, okay? Another resource for you is Cal Apprenticeship. This is a database of registered apprenticeships and trade union membership opportunities in California. It'll answer questions about different trades, which is really nice. There are frequently asked questions, answers a lot of questions about apprenticeships for you. And it does give you a search option to search for trade apprenticeship opportunities in California. My personal favorite is apprenticeship.gov, which I showed you earlier. This is a great way for you to find apprenticeships all across the country based on your particular trade of interest. And a great way for you to begin exploring that get paid to learn model if you are interested in pursuing an apprenticeship, okay? But these are tools that you can use to begin the research. And I want you to understand again that our team is going to be here to support you. Your counselors are here to support you as you begin the fun work of exploring what you might want to do after you graduate. With that, I want to thank you for being with us tonight. I'm here to answer any questions that you might have. We're going to go ahead and share the presentation in the slides in the chat with you right now so that you can save it onto your computer and look at it and click on all of those good resources. And my colleague Erica will link that in the chat for you in just a second. But if you have any questions, please email us, follow us on Twitter, Instagram, follow our YouTube, subscribe to our YouTube channel. We have a ton of videos. But I'll hang back for questions. And thank you, Sarah. Thank you for joining us. But if you have any questions, please ask. I'm all yours for the next few minutes. If you don't have any questions, you are welcome to excuse yourself and enjoy your evening. I hope this sheds some light on trade careers for you. I wish you the best of luck and a wonderful summer, and we will be here to support you when you return in the fall. Thank you, everybody.